Assalamu alaikum. Today we come here to commemorate 26 years ago in the 5th February in Ghulja, East Turkestan. The Chinese government suppressed Uyghurs' peaceful movement, demanding for cultural freedom, for the Uyghurs' human dignity. They used the paramilitary, Bington militia, and other police did a bloody crackdown. It was a massacre. Tens of thousands of Uyghur youths, they disappeared in the jail, in the torture chamber, and in the street. We come here in front of the UN building to demand for the freedom of the Uyghur people. If the 26 years ago, the Ghulja Massacre is a prelude for today's Uyghur genocide from the Chinese government, we are demanding for the freedom, for the Uyghurs' human dignity. We want an independent East Turkestan, freedom for the Uyghur and for others, for our friends Tibetan, Mongolians, and even Shanghai nationals. Now we begin our demonstration by inviting Dr. Rishat Abbas give us an opening speech.
Thank you all for joining us today. On behalf of organizing committees, World Uyghur Congress, Uyghur Academy, Center for Uyghur Studies, and Campaign for Uyghur, I appreciate all of you for joining us today on this special day. The Chinese government has been conducting systemic genocide in East Turkestan against Uyghur and other Muslim groups, ethnic groups. Especially on February 5th, 1997, the Chinese government cracked down the peaceful demonstration of Uyghur youth in Ghulja city, killed thousands of Uyghur and imprisoned thousands more of the peaceful demonstrators. Since then, the active genocide has been ongoing, especially since 2017. Chinese government has imprisoned more than 3 million Uyghurs in East Turkestan. Now, we need to work together to stop the Uyghur genocide and crime against humanity committed by the Chinese government. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Rishat Abbas. Now I would like to invite our Mongolian friend, Uncle Patrick, give us a speech.
Anyway. You don't want me to speak.
Huh?
You don't want Summer Channel. My name is Inkwat Tajik. I'm a Mongolian from Southern Mongolia. Today, we Southern Mongolians are standing here in solidarity with our Uyghur brothers and sisters to commemorate the 26th anniversary of Ghulja Massacre that happened in East Turkestan. 26 years later, today, the government of China is committing a larger wholesale genocide in East Turkestan. Millions of Uyghurs and other Turkic Muslim people are imprisoned and sent to concentration camp in East Turkestan. The government of China has been doing this similar atrocities, not only in East Turkestan but also in Tibet and southern Mongolia. As early as in 1950s and 60s, government of China committed a large-scale genocide in southern Mongolia. Hundreds of thousands of Mongolians were tortured and sent to jail, and that was the first formal genocide took place in the one of these three occupied nations, including southern Mongolia, East Turkestan, and Tibet. And in 2000, early 2000, government of China implemented a series of policies toward Mongolian traditional way of life, and then they effectively wiped out our traditional nomadic way of life. Now the government of China is targeting our language, culture, and identity. So Chinese ambition for colonial occupation does not stop here. In many sovereign countries, including the ones in neighboring China's neighboring nations, are also facing similar threat. Their sovereignty, their democracy are being threatened. So Chinese threat is not just to the threat or human rights violation in the occupied nations of East Turkestan, Southern Mongolia, and Tibet. It is also existential threat to the democracy and human rights that free world fought for centuries to centuries. So it is time for us, all of us, to stand together, say no to the Chinese regime, to stop Chinese from succeeding in exporting their authoritarianism. Thank you.
Thank you, Hapatu. Yes, exactly like his dad. The Chinese threat is even in U.S. now. The balloon, yesterday, before it shut down, it was in our sky and threatened all of us, from our privacy until our military secret. So this threat is real and it's coming to us. And it's not only one balloon. We know the TikTok, we know the Weixin, they are collecting all information from America. So we need to stand up and wake up to stop the Chinese aggression. Next, I would like to invite our Jewish Alliance friends to give us a speech. Thank you.
Hi.
Sorry. Sorry.
Okay. I'm coming here today representing the Jewish Movement for Uyghur Freedom and Uyghur Rally, another Jewish organization that has pledged to stand with Uyghurs in allyship and amplify their voices in the Jewish community and the wider community to let people know about the genocide. We stand by our Uyghur communities, brothers and sisters, in solidarity and in recognition that a genocide is happening today in East Turkestan, and we can't let that unfolding story happen without trying our best to amplify it. In the 1930s, Jewish people had very few allies in the world who would talk about the Holocaust and the genocide against the Jewish people. And the slogan "Never Again," unfortunately, has happened again and again. And personally, and I know on behalf of my Jewish friends here, we won't allow that slogan "Never Again" to be an empty slogan. It is happening again and again, and it's happening in East Turkestan. And we will do our best to get up early on Sunday mornings. We haven't come as far as our friends here from Pennsylvania and Halifax, but we will come again and again to stand with you in allyship and say never again.
Thank you. thank you. Always appreciate and thankful to our Jewish friends. Uh, when the 2017 the genocide started, I tried to find some term to express our suffering, and then I found out the UN Genocide Convention, and then I did some digging, find out that was drafted by a Jewish law scholar, legal scholar. His name is Raphael Lemkin, and he did his best to pass this legislation in UN. So today we have prevention and punishment of genocide convention. So thank you. Now I would like to invite our friend in New York, Turdi Hoca. Give us a few words.
All right. Good morning, everyone. All right. I think this February Ghulja Massacre has a special meaning for me personally. Back then, in February 1997, one cold morning, I woke up for the news that people in East Turkestan, the young people, organized a demonstration against Chinese government persecution and suppression of Uyghur culture. And back then I was just graduated from the school and started a new job. My plan was visit back home in summer, and then I was thinking maybe I can settle in the United States, then go back with my family, friends, potentially get married and bring my wife and settle in the United States. And then this news happened, and then a few days later we saw the video in which young people my age, I was late 20s back then, and then most people taking demonstrations, young people in the 20s and early 30s, and just seeing people dying, and some people just throwing the clothes away in the cold morning, just the jackets, all that stuff, because they caught up in the moment. I realized I can't just keep remaining silent, because even though I knew Chinese government persecuting our people, but I never had planned to speak up because I knew the consequences. I knew the repercussions going to be heavy. But after seeing the video, after seeing young people dying, I realized at least I'm safe here. I can't be persecuted, locked up by the government. I had to speak up. I finally decided to speak up and became my activist. The life began from that moment. And then it's been 26 years. I haven't been able to visit back home, or none of my families ever able to get a passport or visa to come here. And now even we couldn't even communicate through telephone either. So that's have a particular meaning for me. And I still remember that video like yesterday. I still have a copy in VHS tape. So that's the moment. And that's also the beginning of this genocide that the Chinese government planned from that moment to carry out this just a long time ago. They started from suppressing our culture and then gradually banned language in the schools. And they already made plans for this moment, and then they had to speed up, resort to more drastic measures because because of the ambition of Xi Jinping. They want to do this as soon as possible so that he can exert this terror on the other people. Once Uyghurs and the Mongols and Tibetans are silenced, he will have a free hand to use his terror against its neighbors. I mean, nobody, as people earlier spoke, no one is safe as long as the CCP in power in Beijing. The neighbors now, they're supporting China, but they had no idea what was coming their way. But we know, we've seen, we lived through how China operates. They have only one script to follow. They play nice when they don't have enough leverage, and wait. When they have enough leverage, then they start to exert the terror. It happened in Turkestan. It happened exactly same script in Tibet, and then most recently Hong Kong. They did exactly the same thing. They were very nice in Hong Kong, as Nicole can attest. At the beginning in the 90s and even early 2000s, once China had established enough leverage over Hong Kong, they then start to show the true face. And then that script is going to be played everywhere else in the world. Now, time to wake up. China is not going to change. They play nice only when they have to. But once they have enough leverage, the terror coming to everybody, not just to its the neighbors, even the United States and Europe. No one is safe as long as CCP in power. Time to wake up. Time to do something to stop China. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. He reminded me, I was next, after Ghulja Massacre, the summer I went back. I'm from Ghulja.
Oh.
When I back, my two cousins was get arrested, and one was released after 6 years. One was released after 1 year. Both of them disabled. One, the leg was broken. Another one, he had some internal bleeding and he was disabled. So both of my cousins in that Ghulja massacre, they will get arrested and tortured. When they came out, after the elder one 6 years later, he was disabled. So I have the personal, and I believe a lot of us have that story too. Now I would like to invite Study Center for Uyghurs President Abdikim Idris to give us a speech about the Ghulja Massacre.
Why we are remembering the Ghulja Massacre? Because those people shut down and they died in cold water. Why we are remembering this? Because we want to share our experience with the world, with the people who want to protect their free speech, religious freedom, democracy, dignity, diversity. Chinese Communist government cannot tolerate any religion, any other ethnicity, any other culture. This is our heavy paid story. We are here to share with the world. This evil is coming. They're coming right now. You can see Central Asia, many in Muslim country. They are corrupting the politicians, buying the intelligence service. They're putting the Huawei and ZTE iCloud system. They're controlling their mindset. We are here. Those life is gone because those people want to just protect the youth people in Ghulja at that time from drugs sponsored by the Chinese states, from the AIDS. They just had the mashup. This is a Uyghur culture who will teach each other manner, harmony, to protect the others. That was their crime. They didn't want to drink alcohol. They didn't want to die because of the drugs. That's the reason. So we are here to say the world, the Chinese Communist government conducted genocide, nuclear genocide in East Turkestan, in Tibet, in Mongolia, even in China. Many people died there. They organ harvesting. The Chinese Communist government talking about 1.4 billion Chinese people feeling. That's a lie. Those people are hostage by the communist gangs, mafia people. So we are here to warn the world. We want to say thank you for our Chinese friends here. We are in one force against this evil. The Chinese Communist government want to create a state, one language, one nation, and the one God. This is the CCP. We are against that. And we are not forgetting our friends. Those are people, they were 20 years old. They were ordinary people. So we are remembering that, and we telling the world, look at us. Look at us, listen to us. We know the worst side of the CCP. We will share our experience. Millions of people died because of the CCP. In Cultural Revolution, how many died? In East Turkestan, more than 40, 60 times nuclear test occurred. Many million people died from cancer or those. We are remembering that and sharing with the world. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for the speech. Yes, it is. Yesterday, in 26 years ago, they massacred Uyghur, and then before that, in Cultural Revolution, they massacred in Tibet, in southern Mongolia, in China, in East Turkestan. Now they are starting genocide. If we are not standing up, if we are not fight back, tomorrow will be others. So we need to stop them. We want freedom!
We want freedom!
We want justice!
We want justice!
Shut down the concentration camp!
Shut down the concentration camps!
Release our brothers!
Release our brothers!
Release our sisters!
Release our sisters!
Release our parents!
Release our parents!
Release all innocent Uyghurs!
Release our innocent Uyghurs!
Release all the innocent people!
Release all innocent people!
Shame on China!
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 Terrorist China!
Terrorist China!
Fascist China!
Fascist China!
Freedom for Uyghurs!
Freedom for Uyghurs!
Freedom for Southern Mongolians!
Freedom for Southern Mongolians!
Freedom for Tibetans!
Freedom for Tibetans!
Freedom for Shanghai nationals!
Freedom for Shanghai!
Freedom for everyone!
Freedom for everyone!
We are gathered here today to commemorate those that were fallen, that have been martyred, that have been killed by the Chinese regime. Everybody here, the Uyghurs, Southern Mongolians, Tibetans, Hong Kongers, the Chinese, we understand what it means to be oppressed by the Chinese regime. We have had enough. My question to the UN, to freedom-loving nations is, have you not had enough of the Chinese regime? When will you stop investing economically, doing your dealings with such a murderous regime? The equivalent of you today investing in China is the equivalent of investing in Hitler's Nazi Germany. There is absolutely no difference. Yesterday, a Chinese spy balloon was shot down. Have you not had enough? Yesterday it's a balloon. Next they'll send their planes. They'll send their soldiers. Don't take this thing lightly. We urge everyone to wake up from today. Don't make the same mistake that we did. We took things very lightly, and we've seen massacre after massacre after massacre. We've seen the Bara massacre, the Ghulja massacre, the Urumqi massacre, and other massacres. And today, modern day genocide, modern day gulags, modern day Nazi-style concentration camps. So I urge everyone to wake up. Please spread this message. After this, our message will be taken to the Chinese mission UN. So please, everyone, let's come together. Our numbers are very small. The reason why is each movement that we make, any activism, we risk the lives of our own family members back home. We could have thousands here, but even in free America, with China's transnational repression, Tibetans, Uyghurs, Hong Kongers, and others, even fear in the United States of coming out to practice their right to assemble and practice their freedom of speech. So I urge the UN to wake up, the United States, and others. Please support the Uyghurs, Tibetans, and other oppressed nations under the Chinese regime. Freedom for East Turkestan!
Freedom for East Turkestan!
Freedom for Tibet!
Freedom for Tibet!
Freedom for Hong Kong!
Freedom for Hong Kong!
Freedom for everyone!
Freedom for everyone!
China lies!
China lies!
China lies! People die! China lies!
People die!
China lies!
People die!
Stop the Uyghur genocide!
Stop the Uyghur Genocide!
Stop the Uyghur genocide!
Stop the Uyghur Genocide!
Freedom for East Turkestan!
Freedom for East Turkestan!
Freedom for Uyghurs!
Freedom for Uyghurs!
Fascist!
China!
Fascist!
China!
Fascist!
China!
Terrorist!
China!
Terrorist!
China!
Murderer!
China!
Murderer!
China!
Who kills?
China!
Who kills?
China!
Who rapes?
China!
Who rapes?
China!
Who genocides?
China!
Who genocides?
China!
Who murders?
China!
Who murders?
China!
Who kills?
China!
Who kills?
China!
Who rapes?
China!
Who rapes?
China!
Who genocides?
China!
Who genocides?
China!
Freedom for!
Uyghurs!
Freedom for!
Uyghurs!
Stop the!
Genocide!
Stop the Uyghur!
Genocide!
Stop the Uyghur!
Genocide!
China lies!
People die!
China lies!
People die!
China lies!
People die!
China lies!
People die!
Stop the Uyghur!
Genocide!
Stop the Uyghur!
Genocide!
Freedom for!
Uyghurs!
Freedom for!
Uyghurs!
Freedom for!
Uyghurs!
Freedom for East Turkestan!
Freedom for East Turkestan!
Freedom for!
Turkestan!
Freedom for!
East Turkestan!
China lies!
People die!
China lies!
People die!
China lies!
People die!
Murderer!
China!
Murderer!
China!
Terrorist!
China!
Terrorist!
China!
Nazi!
China!
Nazi!
China!
Terrorist!
China!
Terrorist! If anyone like to speak, please come forward. And unfortunately, I don't know your names. So if you would like to say some words, please come.
Shanghai National Party President.
I would like to now invite the Shanghai National Party President to speak. Let's get you to speak. Let's get you to first, and then we'll get the brother. Yeah. Hold on, boss. Hold on.
Everyone, and this is Shanghai National. We are Shanghainese. We are not Chinese because the China is way against. So no Chinese people like to stay here. We are not Chinese. We are not Chinese. Okay. This flag is Shanghai flag, Shanghai national flag. We're looking for Shanghai independent. The Shanghai nation always stand with Uyghurs together. Okay, always support together each other. Okay, so please remember we are not Chinese. Okay, we like looking for independence. We like destroy China. Okay, so we're against China. Thank you so much.
Thank you. 那是你们的人是吧？
他要讲就他讲了，他要讲就讲。
短一点儿。Who are you?
Huh? English.
English? Who
Yeah.
are you? I mean, yes. Are you Shanghai national?
From Cantonia.
Oh, Cantonia. Okay.
I'm
Cantonia.
Asian. I'm Asian. Also, hello everyone. Yeah, people say that we look like Chinese, but I want to clarify that we are Asians. When people talk about Asian community violence, I tell you what's the real Asian community violence. The real Asian community violence is the Chinese government that's sending the secret police to US and harassing people in the Asian community. For people from Hong Kong, from Tibet, and from East Turkestan. And you can check this news in CNN, BBC, all the main media. They all report this news. And the people from Hong Kong, they also pull into the Chinese embassy and get beat up. There's an international news, and everybody can check out. So now the propaganda machine of the Chinese government blame the US, have racism, and then create a violence in the Asian community. That's not true. If the Chinese government, they come to the Asian community in US and create a violence over there and harassing everybody from Hong Kong, from mainland China, and also harassing their family in mainland China. That's a real Asian community, and this needs to be stopped. And they are not welcome in New York City. That's New York. That's not China. They are not welcome in here. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Oh.
Sen birden şort olamsa? Ben avazım çıkmayadı. Shame on China!